Right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Doc Who Pod. I am Josh. With me, as always, is Jack Phillips
Hi there, guys.
and Bradley Fuller.
Hello.
Now, a little sneak peek behind the candelabra for you guys listening at home. We are recording this approximately 3 minutes after our last episode, so we're not going to bore you with an intro. We're not going to bore you with a welcome back. We're not going to bore you with Who News. I think.
Whoa.
Oh,
There is something I think we do need to discuss. But I didn't want to overload the Who News section last time. There is just a quick something I think we need to address in this. It's not Who News really, but it's a bit of podcast news that I think we need to discuss.
I was going to say, I
Jack,
swear
do you
that
think we let him?
Yeah, I thought he was going to say about Pochettino. Then I was physically going to find him in the house and hit him.
No, it's not that.
Go on.
Yeah, as some of the listeners may know, there's a few of you that, back in August last year, July last year, decided
Actually,
to
I
join us
don't
for
think
the...
this is. I don't think this is relevant. I think we can skip this.
No, go on.
What do you mean? The
Let him
Doc Who
cook.
Pod FPL League? What are you on
Let him
about?
cook.
This is
on.
obviously relevant.
Go
So
on.
I'd just like to state, thank you all for taking part, but you're all shit and I won. Thanks, guys.
It's Jeremy Clarkson meme here.
And so, as we all promised, special guest this week, Bradley Fuller.
Yeah, I actually think instead of special guest, it should be special host. And I will actually host this week's podcast.
Well,
But-
considering you haven't watched this episode for a month and have no
Yes.
notes, fire away, Mr. Host.
No, that's why we're going to do it next week. So you can host this week, I'll host next week.
All right.
You don't get to choose.
No, that's something to look forward to next week. I would admit on this podcast, Bradley Fuller, for the next episode, you could be host. You could do the intros, you could do the outros, you could run Who News, you could do everything. What the listeners aren't going to realize is that we're not recording for another 2 weeks. I would bet my life every single one of us forgets about this conversation.
I'm going to remember. 100%.
Sets a little reminder at his phone. That's it.
Well, let me enjoy my hosting duties for the last time and say, if you'll allow me, let's jump straight in with the episode.
Yeah, let's cook.
So straight off the bat, we are landed in what is presumably ancient Rome, and it ends up being Pompeii on Volcano Day.
Yeah. I was half expecting them to bump into Loki and Mobius after season 1 of Loki. But, yeah. You know, Disney got the rights now. They can meddle a bit with it. But,
there we go. Multiverse is happening.
Multiverse. Imagine Doc Who appears in Marvel.
So they're running around, lots of antics, lots of excitement. This is a high energy series, I think. There's lots of running, there's lots of banter. It's a lot just in general. We obviously get the classic TARDIS translation. And Donna comes out with the cracking question: what if I speak in a foreign language?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this was covered before with the TARDIS, wasn't it?
When?
About languages and translation and everything like that. And I think the Doctor said about I think it's the TARDIS that does it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. This is established that the TARDIS gets into your head and translates it. But Donna's cracking question is, what if I speak in a foreign language whilst the TARDIS is doing its translation? And then cue them trying to say Latin phrases and the Latin people, just the Pompeians, whatever you want to call it, just looking at you. Are you speaking in a different language? What is happening?
All right, love.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of all right, love, I love the lovely jubbly store salesman guy that we had at one point.
Yeah. Do you reckon they were like, right, imagine you're Del Boy, but in ancient Rome?
Yeah. I've sold the TARDIS. Lovely jubbly. Well, let's talk about in a minute who we sold the TARDIS to. But Bradley, one of the soothsayers in this episode, none other than Karen Gillan.
Ah, what a legend.
A soon-to-be companion, potentially. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Fucking Nebula herself.
Yeah, Nebula herself. She's big time now.
Bit of a confession on this one. I only realised she was in the episode when I Googled it. Because I was writing down notes and I really didn't know how to spell Cassilius. So
Oh yeah.
I googled the episode, went on IMDb, and then was like, wait, what's Karen Gillan doing there? And then I was like, oh shit. So
Out of
confessions,
interest,
gone.
out of interest, actually, who writes this episode? Do you know?
Yeah, it's Mark Gatiss.
Ah, okay. Just thinking, there's a lot of everyone's always talking about at the moment how Stephen Moffat involve or introduces future companions in his episodes. I thought maybe it was a Moffat episode, but I didn't think it would be.
It was no, sorry, James Moran, not
Oh
Mark Gatiss. Also, he's done it once.
no, he's done it several times now.
No, he's done it with Clara,
Clara and this new companion.
but that's not Stephen Moffat. That's
Um,
Russell T.
well, no, it was Stephen Moffat.
And even so, that's only twice.
Sure, there's one more.
There isn't.
There is.
There isn't.
There is.
There isn't. You could
There is.
argue River Song, but she's not really a
There you
companion.
go. I'm gonna Google it.
There's no one else. We need to stop wasting time Googling shit. Anyway, Karen Gillan, yes. Let's just say her English accent is, well, let's just say her American accent is far better than her English accent. Jesus.
Was she putting on an accent?
Yeah, she's putting on an English accent. It was terrible.
I didn't really notice because again, I only found out it was Karen Gillan until I googled it after the episode.
She doesn't do much acting in this for her breakout role.
Didn't even talk, does she?
Yeah, we're literally having a conversation about her accent.
Oh, yeah, we are. Right.
Whoops.
You would think a future companion is the most controversial bit of casting in this episode, but no, because this episode has the best Doctor in it. And it ain't David Tennant. It ain't David Tennant.
I really hope that Peter Capaldi never plays the Doctor, because honestly, it was just every time I fell asleep during this episode. Brad can actually back me up on this one.
He is really boring, to be fair, to listen to. His voice is so draining.
What? No, you're talking absolute nonsense.
Genuinely had to watch this one twice because the first time I fell asleep.
He's in it, and his introduction, his first appearance in Doctor Who, is him buying and fanboying over the TARDIS. Tell me there's nothing more brilliant than that.
There's nothing. There is something more brilliant.
It's just excellent. The future Doctor is introduced to Doctor Who by buying the TARDIS and being like, oh, look at how amazing it is. Oh, it's poetic justice at its finest.
Do you reckon they planned that at the time that he would one day be the Doctor?
I reckon he's always had his eye on it. I was working this out, right?
Yeah.
He's played 3 different characters in Doctor Who, and he's been in 4 different TV shows, all in the Whoniverse. That's pretty fucking.
Who's the third? Who's the third character?
He's Kai Kilius. He's John Frobisher in the Torchwood Children of Earth.
Well, that's not Doctor Who episode, is it?
But it's in the Whoniverse.
What else then? You said 4, didn't you?
And then he obviously he plays the Doctor, but he's also in an episode of the Class spin-off that they did. He shows up at the end of episode 1 as the Doctor. Yeah.
I didn't finish that.
You didn't finish the first episode.
I think I did, but I don't remember him showing up.
Yeah, he shows up at the end of the first episode. So this man loves Doctor Who, and you can tell. Okay, I know you're going to take the piss because he's my favorite Doctor, but he is fucking loving being in this episode of Doctor Who. He's having the time of his fucking career.
Yeah, he was a fan as a kid, wasn't he? He wrote into them and stuff. And
fan of a kid. He's got
Doctor when he was a child
pictures with previous Doctors. You see him, like he'll have a photo with Sarah Jane and Tom Baker, and he was, wrote to be director of the fan club. He's basically me 50 years ago, which means I will be Doctor Who one day. That's a fact. That's bound to happen.
For sure.
Will we find someone worse than Peter Capaldi?
What I love the most about Peter Capaldi, and we'll get to this when we watch his series, is that when he was around, you basically like dressed like him, and you were him. You pretended to be him. You had long hair.
I took some fashion inspiration from him, but also, and again, we shouldn't be talking about this, but we will do. I'm taking some fashion inspo from Shooty Gatwa. He's throwing out some fire outfits, man.
That doesn't surprise me.
I've got his stripy jumper from the next episode. I'd love a pair of his tartan trousers. His leather jacket that he wore in the I'd love that. Oh, his outfits are mental. I'm loving them.
We've discussed this separately, and it's a bit of a sidetrack, but I just don't like the fact he's got so many different outfits. There's
I
no
do
one
agree with
outfit that.
You need to have at least a themed outfit. Like David Tennant's got his two suits.
The long coat.
Yeah, you know, Peter Capaldi was always long coat, tartan trousers, then different t-shirts or shirts and stuff like that. You need to have a theme, and yeah, I don't think it was very
Bow tie, Matt Smith.
Any bow tie, Matt Smith, they're cool. I like the family dynamic of this Roman family. I think it's quite funny. The kid's been on the boozer. You know, he's being sidetracked by his sister, who's the golden girl, and he's the failure of the brother. All of it. I love that they've made this ancient Rome, Pompeii, and family relatable to the modern day in quite a believable way as well, I reckon.
Yeah, because they say about virgins as well, don't they? So somebody mentioned virgins.
Yeah, which is odd because he's talking about his sister, but I do get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think on that alone, I think they missed it. But yeah, sure. Fair enough.
So then I don't have the energy to talk about the plot, but lots of stuff happens. We get the murderer from the first ever Sherlock playing the bad guy, whatever his name was, Petrius Demetrius.
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah, the cabbie with the pill.
The cabbie with the pill. Yeah, he's a nasty fucker, to be fair. I love him.
He is, isn't he?
I love him.
That's why we rewatch Sherlock now.
This episode, there's obviously the debate between Donna and the Doctor. You've landed in Pompeii. Do you save them? What did you think of that moral dilemma, JP?
You can't. It's an absolute point. End of.
What does that mean?
Well, no, because they kind of covered this in the MCU, and I think at some point they covered it in Doctor Who as well. But there is a point in time where that has to happen. You can't do anything about it.
Mm.
So yeah, it's an absolute point in time. So all right, you'd love to be able to help and kind of save people. Would say, look, even what Donna's doing at the end of the episode, go to the hills, don't go to the beach. But you can't. So,
but why is it okay for the Doctor to interject in the future or the present, but not the past?
Because they're not absolute points.
But what makes them absolute points?
Well, I'm guessing because the Doctor happened. Yeah, they're absolute points. Yeah, they've already happened.
Okay, fair enough. We will circle back around to this at the end. We need to talk about Easter eggs, JP, because 1, 2, 3 Easter eggs mentioned in this episode. Did you get any of them?
No.
Send these to me again so I can remember. Because I've not watched this.
He's just not watched it since it came out.
I watched it about a month ago when we was actually going to record these episodes, and then we never did. So
this is just copied and
kind of a
pasted
new
from
problem.
my note sent on to you there. This is they have when they're having a conversation, the girl and the Petrius Demetrius thing. This is the things that they say. So yeah, quite a lot is revealed here, JP. I'm upset that you haven't picked up on anything.
I think I have because I don't know. That's the thing, because there is that conversation they have about the prophecies. So Donna gets called Daughter of London. The guy mentions about Gallifrey, that he's kind of his world is gone, all that stuff. So I'm assuming there's probably some kind of link there. But the only other one I could find was they mentioned about the Shadow Proclamation.
Oh yes, very good. That's 4 then. The 4 mentions of the Easter egg.
Because he's trying to work out when he's speaking to, I don't know if it was named or not, but the real on the head of the cult.
Yes.
He's trying to find out who he's talking to, what species he's talking to, and he says about under the Shadow Proclamation helm and everything. But the only other thing that I couldn't work out was. And I feel like I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I think it could be an Easter egg. The voice, when the alien actually comes through, sounded an awful lot like a Dalek. or a Cyberman kind of thing. It's like a voice modulator kind of thing. And I wasn't sure if that was just that they only have that one effect and it's just glossed over, or whether there was a thing. So I don't know. That's all I've got.
Interesting you say that. Actually, never thought of it like that before.
There is also, yeah, no, I agree. That high priestess, whatever you want to call her, fuck me, she's creepy as hell.
Yeah, a little bit creepy, isn't it?
That sort of seeing her in the shadows throughout the whole episode and then opening the curtains. In my head, I don't know why, I had like, oh, this is going to look like some cheap CGI or something. That makeup looks insane. Like she looks like a burn victim. It's proper behind your sofa sort of scary if you were a kid watching that, I think.
Well, and this is the, I know we've had this conversation many a times through this podcast, but that is what you get for doing actual proper makeup rather than CGI. When you actually physically, Brent and I watched we watched X-Men Last Stand last night.
Oh yeah.
You've got Beast there, and Beast, but like kind of it is all prosthetic stuff. There's no CGI or anything like that. It just looks so much better, and it stands up as well. You watch it now, and it doesn't look out of place. Even still, like now, watching it for the first time, I'm like you. I'm like that. It just looks uncomfortable. It doesn't look nice. It looks very creepy. It doesn't. You're not sitting there going, "God, what shit CGI that was." It looks really good. So yeah, fair play to them. It's very good.
Totally agree with you. I would even say on the CGI side of things, though, the actual rock monsters, I don't think they look terrible. Even the bit where it crumbles under the bucket of water, I think that kind of holds up as well,
I agree. And I actually put a note about that as well, saying I did think they looked good.
The actual design, brilliant. And then the actual CGI, fine. No complaints for a 15-year-old show,
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought, look, to be honest, this episode I thought looks okay. Even the whole, kind of Pompeii explosion and, the actual, like, kind of, well, not aftermath, but, kind of while they're all like running around once it's erupted. I didn't think it actually looked that bad. I thought it looked pretty decent. As I said, it wouldn't look out of place now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Bradley?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've watched the most recent episodes, and that's like a different level of budget and CGI. But going back to this, like you say, 15 years ago, that's a long time. Although saying that, I would say if you talking about X-Men Last Stand, when did that come out? 2007 as well, similar time. I'd say the CGI in that was actually, I thought that was really good, and I thought that really stood up compared to this. I would say that this probably isn't quite as good, but that's budget as well. To be fair,
I was going to say, that $200 million film compared to this, probably what, 200 grand episode. You probably X-Men The Last Time maybe looking a little bit better. You'd fucking hope so anyway.
Yeah, true.
That infamously bad X-Men film that nobody likes.
Which one was that?
What, The Last Stand?
Last Stand, it's awful.
I thought it was pretty good.
I don't mind it.
No, it's terrible. Of the three, it's by far the worst.
Better than the second one.
Yeah, see, I really like
what?
The second one, but yeah.
I'm saying 1, 3, 2 at the moment. This also, just to let you know, this is the first time I've ever watched the X-Men films.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I've never seen them before.
Yeah.
2, 1, 3, I think would be my opinion. But I haven't watched it. I might rewatch them actually. That could be fun. Anyway, moving on. The rock monsters come up. We're cutting over loads here. I'm just talking about the bits that I've made notes on. The rock monsters come up in Caecilius's house at night. Yeah. And there's someone that's not part of Caecilius's family there just so he can be burned, right?
I think so.
There is no reason, unless Peter Capaldi's having a gay affair with this man, there is no reason for him to be in this house at that time.
Is he not a guard or something?
Huh?
Is he not a guard or something? Like a
no, he's just like you could maybe argue that he's like a shopper, but what's he doing at that time? And he just runs up to this rock thing and he's like, I love you. And then he just gets burned immediately.
I mean, maybe that's the point of where, like, I don't know, because it was kind of like a possession thing as well, wasn't there? Where the aliens kind of possess people. So it could be that, but I don't know.
Yeah, just thought that was quite interesting. I love, obviously, they get to the. I skipped over so much. A lot of this episode is just useless running around nonsense. They get into the volcano, blah blah blah, water pistols, shooty shooty.
Well, fucking, you've cut out fucking loads there.
We'll go back. We'll go back and do. We'll go back and do your miscellaneous notes in a minute. Doctor Who for me is at its best when it's the Doctor is the cause of a thing. The fact that he has to make this decision to basically do Pompeii, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. And on the flip side as well, with where something happens that causes a historical event, like Charles Dickens. I'm trying to think of other examples now.
No, it's when Doctor Who sort of weaves itself into history.
The Queen Victoria. Like I love stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
No, I think it's brilliant. It was a little bit.
I think.
Oh, go on.
So I think the plot's good, and I do like the episode. I think, but I don't jump to want to go back and rewatch it. To be honest.
Agreed.
It's an okay episode. I don't know why.
It's just a bit nothingy. It's just a bit sort of, running around after. Oh, also, it's the thing we were talking about before, Brad. Like, it's the whole fantasy side of it. It's like, okay, fortune tellers, like, I get it. It's because of a rift in space, but really they are actually just telling the future. There's no sort of like logic that you can put behind it. And it all just feels a bit like, well, this is just nonsense. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think my issue with it is. Same, it's exactly the issue that I had with Devil's God. It's all a bit like, well, things are just happening because they have to happen rather than there being any logical sense to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like all the little costumes that they wear, though. And Donna's tits. Holy shit, there's a lot of cleavage in this episode.
Sorry, of all the things you could have said, I did agree, actually. I agreed with the Doctor's thing of I like the toga. But yeah, I'm with Brad. I wasn't expecting that one at all.
I just
saying that we probably should expect it with Josh. How old is Donna in this? Got to be late 30s.
Very good. Very good. Oh, do you want to hear a strange stat? I was going to save it for when we started Matt Smith, but you know how old he was when he became Doctor Who?
Who? Matt Smith?
Yeah.
30?
27?
26.
Wow, I feel fucking useless.
We're basically older than Matt Smith when he became Doctor Who. That is very upsetting.
What have I done with my life, huh? I love it. Honestly, I'm getting to that age now where
how old was David Tennant?
30, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi must have been, what, 80, 85?
Very good. Very good.
I wish. It lasted a bit less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add to this this episode. The bit where the Doctor's running back to the TARDIS, he's out of there, he's done. Donna's screaming, "Save them! Just save one! Just save one!" The ash is falling. It's gone dark. All of that was fucking brilliant.
It was up until the point where the Doctor came back.
Yeah, he does contradict himself a bit.
Well, they kind of it's going to be a kind of a guess catch-22. But at the start of the episode, they make a brilliant pop culture reference, right? Where he said, like, he kind of goes through and he just says, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Spartacus." And then Donna says, I'm Spartacus," like as in Gladiator, which I found really funny. I watched it the other day and I was like, "Oh, that's really good. That's really clever." But then at the end, he comes through the door and he just goes, he just says something like, "Come with me if you want to live." And I'm like, oh, Christ. I've even put my note here is, oh.
I missed all of that. My headphones died. I'm so sorry.
Basically saying it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What I'm saying is they put a really good pop culture reference at the start with the "I am Spartacus," and then Donna goes, "No, I am Spartacus." And I watched Gladiator the other day. I thought it was really funny. I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty good." And then I'm not sure if it's just because it was just kind of dialogue or something like that. But it kind of the doors open again. This big bit of light comes through, and this hand comes out with the doctor, and he just said, "So say along the lines of like, come with me if you want to live." And I'm like, "Fuck it!" Like, it took everything out of that scene for me.
What? Are you joking? He just says, "Come with me," and that's such a fucking powerful shot. And that's like the Doctor is reaching his god level. Brad, we'll sort of know it as Time Lord Victorious now, but
yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
this is like this is what the series is building to. This like god level power.
That's what he wants,
Time Lord.
The laws of time are his.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if we jump ahead, the reason he regenerates into Peter Capaldi.
Whoa. Wait, what?
Yeah, this is the reason he regenerates into Peter Capaldi, is to remind him that actually he can save whoever he wants. He can play God. This is I'm shocked you have an issue with this. This is like one of the most pivotal scenes. Like, I bet if we were to get Russell T Davies, he would say this is one of the most important moments in David Tennant's Doctor Who.
It's just like, they'll come with me if you want to live.
He doesn't say if you want to live.
Just like literally, just in my notes, I've just put, "All right, Arnie, calm down." Like,
but you've made this up.
Oh, it's just so on the nose. Like, and they were trying to squeeze in pop culture references in there with the "I am Spartacus" kind of thing.
Yeah, the Spartacus bit at the beginning. This is in your head. We're in the serious part of Doctor Who now. It's a beautiful shot. All of it. The white glow radiating from behind him. The shot of, Peter Capaldi and David Tennant linking arms. All of it. Amazing. Spectacular stuff.
I did put a note though saying how you could say that was stone cold of the Doctor. Because they really turned to stone.
What do we think about all that nonsense about them turning to stone then?
That was weird. It's kind of scary actually. Kind of, because you look at them as kind of like a cult thing, and when they throw back the curtain and it's revealed that the woman is completely stone, and they're just like, "Oh, it's a gift from the gods," and it's like, oh, I don't know what was creepy about it, but something didn't like. You know what I mean? It's just like you sit there and you look and you just think there are actually people like that.
Yeah, no. If that's a gift from the gods, I'm fine, thank you. I'll be an atheist.
You know what I mean? Like to us, you see that as kind of a serious skin condition, like whereas they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a gift from the gods."
Yeah. No.
It's kind of creepy. It really is. But I suppose that's what they were like back in the day. I mean, there are people like it now, but thankfully, there's not as many of them.
It's interesting, Bradley, that at the start of a new season of Doctor Who, we've got another anti-religion message coming through.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that, to be fair, until the Boom episode. But yeah, that is an interesting one. Clearly, Rusty Davis has an issue with
that. It's well, as an actively gay man, he probably would do. And
yeah, I guess so.
him, especially back in 2008. I can't believe you've got an issue with the "Come With Me" shot. Like, I've literally singled that out as an absolutely beautiful one.
Have we confirmed whether it's "Come With Me" or "Come With Me If You Want to Live" yet?
It's just "Come With Me."
You just expected him to just fucking pull out an old Winchester shotgun and just jump on a motorcycle, like?
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, it didn't do anything for me. That one.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I can't really remember it.
Very good. I wish you'd have done it before we fucking recorded it. So they're standing on top of the hill, and it's genuinely very emotional. All your friends are dying. You're looking at this big city being consumed by this crowd, and the Doctor goes, or Caecilius or something goes, 20,000 people. That's less than a football stadium now. That's madness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
An entire city, and it's like 20,000 people. And obviously an awful thing happened. I just thought that was interesting. Like, how big's your team's football stadiums? Upton Park, how big is that?
That got demolished 8 years ago, but yeah.
Back in 2008, though, mate. You were still there.
London Stadium, 60,000 now.
There you go. So
I've got some-
Wembley
I think-
Stadium is bigger than Pompeii.
Wembley? What? Who said anything about Wembley?
Didn't you
Well, I
just
think
say Wembley Stadium?
No,
I
London
think Wembley's
Stadium.
80,000.
Wow, so it's still factually correct then. Moving swiftly on, I love the recurring theme of there's no fucking word for volcano. I think that's a very clever thing.
Oh yeah, what do they call them?
No, it's just a mountain. They've just got no concept of what a volcano is. And then at the end, Peter Capaldi's like, "Oh, this god's so angry he'd be volcanic. We shall call it a volcano."
When did volcanoes become a thing then?
Pompeii.
When the
Did you
volcanoes
watch this episode?
What?
Pompeii is when it became. That's like the first volcano.
Is that what? Who first called them volcanoes then?
Who?
Who let the dogs out? Anyway, Jesus, we've gone on a right.
I will say though, a quick Wikipedia search. It was actually Roman, so it comes from Vulcan, the god of fire in Roman mythology. There you go. So it
Was
wasn't
that
Roman.
before Pompeii or after?
After.
No, I'm guessing before.
No, after, because you didn't know.
No, then they would have said.
This is literally what Peter Capaldi says at the end of the episode. They had no idea that lava could come out of a hill. And he goes, it's volcanic, as in, I didn't know, but he's clearly referring to the god of fire. And that's why it's called a volcano.
Interesting.
Which led me on to my next question, but we've gone on such a bloody tangent that it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Did Peter Capaldi and his family always survive because somebody went on to call it a volcano? In this instance, it's Peter Capaldi. So is the Doctor saving Peter Capaldi a fixed point, or has the Doctor gone against the laws of time and broken the rules?
That's a very good point.
I don't know.
No, I'm going to say
Well,
no.
we discussed that in depth. Thanks,
No. It's an absolute point. I'm saying now it's an absolute point. So they must have survived.
They must have survived. You don't think he'd physically
Yeah,
be able to break the rules?
They've only
Yeah.
saved a couple of people. It's not like they've saved the whole of Pompeii, so I can't see why it can't just be a little addition.
I think that's interesting. I think you guys haven't appreciated that very in-depth question. I think it's quite late.
Yeah,
I'm
I
out of
think I'm
notes
tired.
for this episode. Have we got any miscellaneous notes? We've obviously skipped over the plot, but you've all seen it 100 times. You don't want to listen to three boring men talk about that show you've watched 100 times. We're just trying to find some alternative.
And that is the idea of the podcast, but
Only other thing I've got to say, I quite like the touch at the end where he said, like, the mum of the family says, "I'll pray to the household gods," and then it's just like a stone carving of the Doctor, Donna, and the TARDIS.
oh yeah, that is pretty cool.
That's quite a little cool thing. But no, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was a pretty dead episode,
Yeah, a bit of a nothing episode.
and it was a shame because as we
It's a
previously
filler.
discussed,
It's a good filler.
yeah, but it's a shame because the CGI and everything, it had an interesting idea,
Yeah.
but it just was a bit boring. Like, how the fuck can you make the volcanic eruption at Pompeii boring?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, the history stuff is pretty boring. I don't like. I'd much rather see them go to the future than the past.
Yeah, but I enjoy the history stuff though, so it should have been my kind of episode, but it just wasn't.
No, I agree with both of you. I like a history episode. I like that, like we said earlier, it embedded itself in the history. It just went too fantasy with all these, fortune tellers. Like, have an episode just be about Pompeii and the volcano going off. Why is there this subplot of what's going on with the whole, he can see the future and he's building a circuit? That's all pretty unnecessary. Get rid of all of that.
Yeah, what's the point of the circuit in the end? I don't remember.
Because they're going to
It's an
convert
energy modulator.
the population into, I don't know. Anyway, we've got 4 minutes left on this. JP, love it or hate it?
Gonna have to say hate it for this one. It just didn't click. It just and hate it sounds extreme, but it just didn't. I just thought it was a bit of a boring episode, really.
Interesting.
It must have been the guy that played Cassilius, It just must have been him.
You're not even getting his name right. It's Caecilius.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't grow
Come
up in
on,
Rome.
you don't even get his name right.
Sorry, I didn't grow up in Rome. Fucking hell.
Bradley,
Again, I'm going to outline the fact that I hate this ranking system because I neither hated all of it, but I'm going to just go for the nearest one and have to say hate it.
Oh
I've
no, you're going to
disliked
hate it as
more than
well.
liked it. Well, yeah, it was a bit boring. It's not an episode that I jump back to.
Look at this. I want this on the record. Bradley Fuller is willing to give his first hate it to a David Tennant episode just to spite me because it's
Nah,
got
I've
Peter
done one
Capaldi.
before.
I don't think you have for a David Tennant. Oh, I think you might have done Love
Oh,
and
actually not.
Monsters or whatever it was.
Yeah, Love and Monsters, definitely.
For me, I like this more than I don't like it. So I am going to go with Love It. But it is a very nothing episode. Very boring. Again, the Doctor and Donna shine through it. Peter Capaldi obviously stand out. Yeah, I think it's fine. The Easter eggs and everything. I think it's fine. Next time, JP, Return of the Ood.
So what are they the same guys from the Impossible Planet?
They are
The
indeed.
Slaters? I thought
How
it
could
was.
you not tell that?
Well, no, it's been a while since we watched it. And I was like, I'm sure they're the ones. Yeah, so they're the race that was you can kind of hijack and do what you want to do.
Slaves.
Well, yeah, they were slaves, but then they were hijacked on the frequency thing, weren't they?
Oh, by the devil.
Mm-hmm.
What? Excited for it?
Yeah, it looked. The problem is, I don't know if it was just this trailer or maybe I just that, but it was quite jumpy. So the only thing I really got from it was the Ood were there. Like there were some red eyes, and it didn't really.
Red eyes.
Is that a thing?
Devil. It's about the devil and the angels. Don't forget the angels.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. I got to start trying to find. I'll tell you now. There is just an overarching, like, just not even just like a story arc. There is an entire, like, kind of thing. What's one above the series? Collection? A collection arc. There you go.
Well, I think whatever nonsense you were just spewing wraps us up nicely.
With that.
With that, sorry this one's been a bit brief and all over the place. Like I said, a third of us haven't watched this episode for a month. 2/3 of us are getting pretty tired. We'll be back next week with Planet of the Ood, where we'll jump on things and do it a little bit better, and we'll run through the plot a little bit. I think we're a bit rusty. We need to work our way back into it. So thanks for listening.
Freshen it up with a new host as well. Woo!
Oh yeah, until we all forget about it. But thanks for listening, chaps, and see you next week.
Adios, amigos.
Thanks, guys.